eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Mr. Walker. How are you doing today?
Lonnie, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Mr. Walker. Welcome to Conversation with Khmani, presented by Best Buy, Boys and Girls Club, and Money Tees. So let's get started. First question I have for you for my amazing podcast. What's been the most unforgettable sports event you ever covered and why?
That's a great question. And by the way, I love the name Conversation with Khmani. It flows. It's nice. Man, I've been blessed to cover a lot of really cool sporting events. And if I had to pick one that really stands out to me, man, is the Kentucky Derby. When I used to work in Lexington, Kentucky, I got the chance to cover the Kentucky Derby. And it just happened to be the biggest upset in the history of that race. Rich Strike, the horse, won that year at like 80-1 odds. It was one of the biggest long shots ever to win. And it's just a really cool event. Like the pageantry of it, everyone's dressed up. There's so much at stake. And just the gravity of that event was really, really special. I've had the chance to cover a lot of NCAA men's basketball tournaments as well in my time, and that's always really cool because I love college basketball. And so those are probably the two that are at the top of the list. Covering bowl games for college football are always really cool as well. The Citrus Bowl and the Pop Tarts Bowl and things of that nature. But yeah, pretty cool.
Pop Tarts, bro. I love Pop Tarts. I really love Pop Tarts.
Oh yeah, brown sugar cinnamon is my favorite.
I wish I had one, right? Oh, I don't have one. Darn. How do you stay impartial when reporting on a game where you have a favorite team that is playing?
Another great question, and I think I looked back at my time at Penn State. I'm a Penn State grad, and a lot, when I was a student there, I was calling Penn State football and Penn State basketball come on the radio and TV, and I was a huge fan of Penn State. But like in that role, and in every role I am broadcasting games or covering games, you have to be objective and impartial. And it's a responsibility as a journalist to be objective and not to take sides. And sure, like when we're in Orlando and we're covering UCF in Florida, when they're doing well or when the Magic's doing well, like, yeah, your reports are probably going to sound a little bit more enthusiastic than when they lose. And so that's inherently, as a sports fan, is going to seep in sometimes, but we do a good job of trying to remain objective and impartial and realize that it's a responsibility to the viewer and the consumer to give them both sides equally.
Great answer. What is your favorite sport that you like to cover? Like favorite sport?
I'm a huge college fan. Growing up in Pennsylvania, being a Penn State guy, I love Penn State football. I love Penn State basketball. It's just something about college sports that has so much passion involved. And had the chance to, at my second job, I covered a lot of. So I worked in Iowa, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida. So in North Carolina, we were covering East Carolina, NC State, North Carolina, Duke, and then at Lexington it was all Kentucky, and now it's UCF in Florida. And having the chance to cover college sports is just so much fun. Everyone loves it. And don't get me wrong, man, I love covering the NBA too, like covering the Magic. People are really passionate about them, and they're about to make a playoff push here. But something about college sports that just really does it for me, and I love covering that.
The Magic and the Kia Boys, as people like to say, the Kia
Right.
Boys.
I like.
What's the most surprising or shocking story you uncovered while reporting on sports?
Shocking story. Well, I'll tell you what. One of the I covered. I've covered a couple scandals. Over the years at Penn State, there was a big scandal there. involving a former college football coach, and uh, it's one of those things that when you're a journalist, you're gonna cover really happy stories, you're gonna cover strange stories, you're gonna cover awful stories as well, and you have to cover all of them with the same enthusiasm, and make sure you're diligent and truthful and factual. And so yeah, I mean, not every day is it going to be really happy, but there's two ways to look at shocking. The other way is like a crazy upset or something that's like happened that you never think you'd see. And one of them was Kentucky football, and as they won 10 games in a season for the first time since like the 1970s, and I covered them beating Penn State in the Citrus Bowl back in, I think that was 2019. So that was really cool too. Fans have been following a team for so long, and they finally get to see a massive win. So that was pretty sweet.
That's nice. Another question: how do you think advancements in technology, like AI, artificial intelligence, or analytics, are changing sports reporting?
And Khmani, that question is at the forefront of the industry right now. Is finding a way to use AI effectively and responsibly. I think AI can be used irresponsibly, and I think we've all seen examples of that: fake images or fake videos, or everyone has seen those press conference clips where they use AI to make a coach look like they're saying something which they're not. So you have to be very careful with artificial intelligence, AI, and analytics, but they can also be used for good as well. I think one of either the XFL or the UFL, one of the new leagues, is using AI to help with analytics, to help coaches with their game planning, and it's a very smart technological tool. So like, if you use it the right way and you use it to help improve your team or to help streamline, research to figure out different ways to beat your opponent with AI, I think it'd be used for good. We use analytics a lot too. I mean, I'm not a big math guy, but we have to use math in our profession sometimes. And so like, if we can use deep analytics and research to help us in our job as well, we will always do that.
Yeah, guys, use AI responsibly.
Got respond.
Use it responsibly. Um, if you can interview any athlete, past, present, or future, who will it be and why?
Man, that is such a tough question. I can any player, past or present. One of my favorite players of all time across any sports is Cal Ripken. He was a multi-time All-Star for the Baltimore Orioles, and I fell in love with the Orioles growing up. Khmani, I used to live an hour north of Baltimore, and so my dad took me down to see Cal Ripken. So I would love to interview Cal Ripken. I think outside of that, in current day, I've covered games with LeBron James. I was just covering the Magic Lakers game earlier this week, and got to be right next to Luka Doncic and LeBron. Didn't interview them because normally on a game day, Khmani, we can go into the opposing team's locker room or press conference and interview LeBron. But because Dwight Howard was getting his name in the Hall of Fame, Magic Hall of Fame, we were busy. But one of these days, I do an interview LeBron because he's fascinating both off the court and on the court. I think it'd be a really cool interview to have, and Michael Jordan as well, man. Like, I would love to interview Michael Jordan. Like, that'd be incredible, just to pick his brain of how he's wired and why he's one of the most dominant athletes ever. So Tiger Woods as well. All those guys, be great.
How do you feel about Dwight Howard going to the NBA Hall of Fame?
So he's a finalist for the NBA Hall of Fame. So Dwight Howard is now he's now the 13th member of the Magic Hall of Fame. Well deserved. I think him and Shaq are the two most dominant players in franchise history. I don't think there's much disputing that. He's now a finalist for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I think he'll get in right away. I mean, you look at what he's done in his career. His 8 seasons that he was in Orlando, he basically has every single record in franchise history. Led him to the NBA Finals, lost to the Lakers. Same with Shaq, led him to the finals and lost. But Dwight's a dominant guy. I mean, he was his last 5 years in Orlando was all NBA. And if that Lakers series plays out a little differently when he led him to the NBA Finals, Orlando could have a championship, and who knows, maybe he stays. But yeah, he definitely deserves to be in it. It was really cool to talk to him, and his family was very happy for him, so that was neat.
100%. Well deserved. And last question I have here. For the people who don't know, during the high school football season, you actually came to my school. Yeah, guys, you actually came to my school.
Edgewater Eagles.
Yeah, guys.
There we go. There's the biggie. I like it.
Yeah, guys. If you had to choose between the Edgewater Eagles or the Boone Braves to win the Barrel, who would you pick?
Oh, that's a great question, and I've had the chance to cover a couple of the Battle of the Barrels since joining the Channel 9 team in 2022. I know Edgewater's got a new coach coming in, Cameron Duke, awesome guy. Really enjoyed covering him. He took a great opportunity for him and his family up in Georgia, which that's going to be great. I wish the new coach at Edgewater the best of luck. What we know about Edgewater, Khmani, so many talented athletes, and they've always had a great team. And so it's going to be a tough test for Boone, and Boone always has a good team as well. That's such a fun rivalry, the battle for the barrel. Not going to pick a team because we have a lot of viewers on both sides, and don't want to make anybody mad. But what I hope is that we get a really good game. I love rivalries in high school football, and that barrel is such a cool thing to have if you win that game. So it's always one of our favorite rivalries to cover on Football Friday night every Friday, Khmani.
Well, I hope this year we keep the barrel.
There you go. Let's hope.
We're keeping the barrel, y'all. Come on, we're keeping the barrel, y'all. But that's the last question I have for this amazing podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Alex Walker from Channel 9 Eyewitness News, the one and only. Really handsome man.
Okay. Thanks for having me, man. Your podcast is fantastic. Glad I could finally be on Conversation with Khmani, and keep it up, man. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Alex.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire.